Hello everyone, my name is Kenton Kivestu. I'm an ex-BCG consultant, an ex-Googler, and the founder of RocketBlocks, an online platform that helps students prepare for case interviews. In today's RocketBlocks mini lesson, we're going to kick off a brand new mini-series, which is called Debunking Consulting Terminology. And we're going to add to it periodically throughout the weeks and months and years as we go on. And today we're going to start with a super common phrase, which is don't boil the ocean. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start with a literal translation of what this actually means. If you were to try and boil the ocean, you would essentially be taking on a task that is so massive in scope, there is no way you'd ever be able to get it done. And that principle and that idea is really important in your case interviews as well, because as you are going through a case, if you ever find yourself suggesting a task that's maybe, easy to suggest, but tactically extremely hard to do and get done because of the scope of it is so massive, that's a really bad red flag, because the person on the other side of the table immediately is going to be thinking, well, if we're on a 12-week or 16-week or 20-week case and we have to do that tactically, like how are we actually ever going to get that done? So for example, imagine you are working through a case on declining revenues for a company, and you've pinpointed the issue to the fact that they're not losing customers necessarily. They've actually kept the same number of customers, but all of their customers are just paying them a little bit less. And so the first thing you think of is, well, maybe we should just go talk to all the customers. But if there are, say, thousands or 10,000s of customers, that is not a task that is doable. That is a boil the ocean type task. It's just impossible to achieve, especially under the time pressure that you would have in a consulting case. So what do? There's got to be a better way. So here's the good news. If you take the advice of not boiling the ocean, this naturally leads you to something called the Pareto Principle, or what a lot of people also refer to as power laws. And these state that 80% of the value, so most of the value, is going to come from 20% of the activity. So again, all of the insight or a lot of the value you can get for a very small amount of work or effort. And that's the way you want to approach the tasks that you are suggesting in a case interview. So for example, if we think about that case we were just talking about, and you've got declining revenues and you need to interview customers to understand what's going on, but there is a huge number of customers, another way to approach it would be to say, okay, we're going to segment the customer base into the 3 core customer groups, and we're going to talk to the top 5 customers in each of those segments. So now we've got 15 customers we need to talk to. We can go deep with each of them, get the insights we need, and ultimately we've got a much smaller task to tactically accomplish, but it hopefully is going to yield the insight that we need to understand the whole scope of the problem. So now you've got a really elegant way to get at the same insight you need without, quote, boiling the ocean. Great, so now we've seen how the advice of don't boil the ocean leads naturally to another important idea, which is the Pareto Principle, or power laws. And that idea and concept is so important in the consulting industry because the time periods that consultants work on are so compressed. They need to find highly concentrated, high leverage tasks that they can do that are going to yield as much insight as possible. So thank you again for watching the first in our series on debunking consulting terminology. We've got a ton of great videos coming out in the coming weeks. So if you haven't subscribed yet already, please do so below. There is a big red button, and we hope to see you shortly. Thanks again.